Today, I'm going to give you a major key in curing your depression. Here we go.
This is your life, no one else has gotta live it. This is your fight that only you can win.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Freedom Friday, where you learn how to free yourself and live your dreams. I'm Darienne, your certified spiritual rock star. And if you're new here and you would like to get these videos every single week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that bell for notifications. And today we're going to go a little bit deeper into some darker topics of depression. Really doesn't have to be that dark, but so for those of you that don't know me, I suffered with depression for probably about 20 years off and on. My last depression was during my pregnancy, and my daughter is 2 years old today, so that was about 2 years and 8 months ago when my depression started again. And so being that this is what I do for a living and I coach people in order to live their dreams and free themselves of the suffering that they've been suffering, of their own suffering, you know, I've really had to kind of go into the darkness and pick apart what is really happening and come out of the darkness and back into the light and gain some more tools and some awareness, and then go back into the darkness and really have a strong understanding. And I know that I am a teacher, and because I am a teacher and I have a deep desire to help people and to do things like this, that is why I have chosen a great amount of contrast in my life. But I've discovered that there is one major key. Now, this isn't the one thing that's going to absolutely cure your depression, but it is, as far as, in my opinion, now everybody has their own opinion, but in my opinion, and probably a lot of people watching my channel, my opinion is that spirit can heal your depression. And really the only thing that's going to heal any sort of ailment, especially a mental illness, is going to be whatever you call God. And so there's this thing that your spirit has been leading to. Let's say that your depression or a loved one's depression, I'm going to speak directly to the people suffering with depression because I've been there. I was very suicidal. It wasn't just like a dark cloud over me all the time. It was, I wanted to die. I mean, there was no doubt about it. I attempted it many times since I was 13 years old. And I was also addicted to cutting myself as well. So I was self-harming on top of wishing that I could leave the earth for many, many years. Now, when you get to that extreme, what goes on in your mind in that moment is that there is no other option to relieve yourself of the intense pain that you're in other than to leave this world. And I'm here to tell you that that's not so crazy, and that your spirit, who may have even possibly led you to those thoughts, not saying that your spirit wants you to commit suicide, but what your spirit wants you to do is leave this world. And so the major key to curing your depression, and how I was able to cure my depression, or at least heal myself of my depression many times and completely cure it to the point where I know the answer to my depression, I know the answer to healing my depression, is abandoning the world. Except you don't have to do it physically in order to free yourself of the attachment of it. So this is where meditation comes in. This is where having that life of spirituality, this is where having a deep connection with spirit comes in, or at least being willing to be there. So what do I mean by completely abandoning the world? You need to have a few minutes in your day, especially if depression is an issue, because depression becomes an issue because you are too attached to who you are in the flesh and not who you are in your essence eternally, right? So you become so attached to being, in my case, a woman, a mother, intelligent, good looking, just all those traits. Being white, growing up in a suburban, or not a suburban, growing up in an urban community. And that story, that identity, even all the way down to, the reason this came to me is because I'm planning my daughter's birthday party for this weekend. And having all of this and thinking that it's your job to put all of this together and being attached to all of the how and micromanaging everything, all of those things. When you are attached to those things so much, it will lead you, especially if you are sensitive. And I have a really strong inkling that people who suffer with depression are highly sensitive people. Some people who suffer with depression might even relate or identify with the term empath, which, if that's something that you feel, definitely explore my channel. I help thousands. I have helped thousands of empaths. So that's just something to explore. But being that sensitive and being that attached to something that is not really your truth, that is going to cause you suffering. So when I was depressed straight through for about 13 years. I had no let up. I think at one point I got a really good job and was making some money, and maybe for about a year I was pretty happy. But even during that time, I had drama with my kid's dad and my older kid's dad, and there were restraining orders getting done. We were going all through court. Like, there was always something crazy going on in my life, and I had not had my spiritual awakening. It wasn't until I had that spiritual awakening that I was free of my depression. And the reason, what made me free, was that I basically killed the ego. Now, of course, that's not really possible, but not in the human flesh, but I killed many ego attachments. Like, I killed off the woman I thought I was, the person I thought I was, the human I thought I was. I killed off all those attachments. And maybe kill off is really a dramatic term, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I had to kill that woman in order to find out who I really was. And so this inkling that we have that we need to commit suicide when we get in the depths of depression, it really isn't that far off from the truth. Look at that. We just came full circle. Maybe it's the death of the ego. Maybe it's the ego that needs to be killed off, that needs to leave this earth. Maybe there is a death that needs to occur, but it doesn't have to be your physical death. Because let me tell you something. If you are suffering with depression right now, the person who you are right now versus the person who is highly joyful, living the life of your dreams, those are two different people in the same flesh. And actually, if you look at how I looked, let's say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was in the depths of my depression, if you look at my physical apparatus or my flesh, if you look at pictures of me from 15 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, I have reinvented and transformed myself so many times that people that I went to high school with, people that I grew up with, people that I've known my entire life wouldn't even recognize me on the street. And that actually happens to me all the time. If you ask if any of my friends are watching this, stick up for me down below. Nobody ever recognizes me. And it's because I have internally transformed myself. Now, I haven't become somebody completely different. I've just found myself. And I had to lose who I thought I was. So here's how to do this, okay? So you're probably asking, okay, I get it. I get what this woman is saying. Maybe you had an aha right now. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm with you. Here's how to do it, okay? A simple exercise, 10 to 15 minutes a day, basically sitting in meditation, but consciously letting go of all of the world. Now, if you've never done this before, the ego might go kicking and screaming, okay? But when you sit and you just do a gentle practice, let go of your to-do list, let go of all the projects you think are your job to take care of, let go of the need to pay the bills, let go of the need to be a mother or a father to your children, let go of, understand that none of that is really you. Like, this is all as if, I'm gonna get real woo-woo for you right now, but this really is like, basically it's like the Matrix. Like this, I know that sounds crazy, but imagine this is like a play, right? And we are spirit taking on this flesh. And we're not even taking on this flesh, we created this flesh. We created this scenario, and we continue to create this scenario. This is like, imagine like this is just fun, right? And you can really just abandon all of it and step out of it, right? So one exercise that I used to have to continually remind myself when I was first healing myself of the depression, and the depressing thoughts would like to creep in, and I started reading A Course in Miracles, I would say to myself, none of this is real. I created all of this from the perspective of my mind, from what I'm projecting. So imagine, your thoughts are projecting as if you are a movie projector. And what you're seeing with your physical eyes is the movie that you created through your beliefs and thoughts. So when you abandon all of that, and it's not, it might not be possible to do abandon it 1,000%, 100%, but to abandon any bit of it, you will find relief. Again, the ego might go kicking and screaming. It might be a little bit difficult at first, but I promise you, that is a major key in curing your depression. I promise you. Because this world will never give you the joy that you seek. And depression comes from looking at that which your spirit is not looking at, and being so far from your soul. And so you're looking, probably looking at what is happening around you. And what happens with the brain when you suffer with depression, what happens with the brain is it's almost like the lights go out. I used to describe it like that all the time. It's like all of a sudden you get triggered and somebody just turned the light switch off in my mind. And I went from 5 minutes ago, the glass was half full, and now bloop, that trigger went and the switch went off, and now the glass is half empty, and I am in desperation. I can't find any reason to be happy. The whole world is hell for me. And not even when that happens, before that happens, we need to be abandoning the world for 5 minutes a day even. And just be. Not be in your flesh. Not be the woman you are, the man you are, not be your sexuality, not be your skin color. How beautiful is this? You want to eradicate, that's the first step to really eradicating all of the issues that have been drudging up, especially in this country, in America. I know a lot of people are from other countries, so much love to y'all too. But with what's going on, it's like the reason that's happening, there's a lot of reasons that's happening, so I'm not going to go super deep into that, but one of the key reasons, it's like you can't get offended by somebody judging you for your outside appearance or the way you live your life or who you are in this flesh if you detach from it, if you understand that you are so much greater than this flesh and the role that you play on this earth. You are so, this is like who you are as a human being is an idea that your spirit had that came into fruition into the physical world. Think of the thoughts that you have. You have literally thousands upon billions of thoughts in your life. And so you, the human, is just such a small part of you, the spirit. And so when you move beyond that, when you abandon this smallness, this is small. Just know that. We can do great things and we can be greatness when we understand that this world is so much smaller than what we really are. And honestly, guys, I could go on and on and on about this because depression is a passionate subject for me. I went through it for so many years. I studied it. I was the guinea pig of it. I read books. I went through all sorts of programs. I studied myself. And my heart has always been with people who suffer with depression because I know that I know that we're all so much more than we think that we are. But in depression, I think that what psychology has figured out thus far within depression, we are so much, I just feel like we're so much more than what the textbooks tell us, So I would really love to hear what you guys have to say. I know for a fact, for any of my newcomers, I know for a fact that there are so many that have overcome their own demons, slayed their own dragons. That's how we say it here in Darienne Empire. And I would love to hear you guys, right? Take this opportunity. You guys some of you have been with me for years. Take this opportunity to really reach out to people. What do you think is a major key to curing? How is it to cure your depression or your addiction or any affliction that you've had in your lifetime? We want to hear the advice from everybody. Of course, we want to hear from those of you who are suffering with depression because you have to speak out and reach out to people. If you do not feel safe speaking about that and you do feel connected to being an empath, I have a Rocket Empath free Facebook group. It is filled with like 1,800 of the most supportive, beautiful people. There are ways to get to me. Obviously, you can message me too. I can't always directly message you, but I want you to know that this realm here on the internet and my little corner of the internet, it is a loving and supportive space. So just know that and reach out and do what you can to abandon the life you see before you and who you think you are, for spirit to flood you with the truth, because that is what will occur when you abandon the illusions. All right, guys, I love you so much. Whether you are new or you've been here for years, I love you so much. I am so grateful that you have found your way here. I'm so grateful that I have attracted you and we have attracted one another and our souls have collaborated to create this moment for us to connect. I hope that this helped you and I will see you next week. Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I ask that you share it with whomever you think that it could help. There are literally millions of people suffering with depression and every 40 seconds in the world someone commits suicide. So it is so important for these kinds of messages to get out because these kinds of messages cannot, unfortunately, be found in therapy generally. They're not teaching you spirituality. And though I believe and I support therapy, I also, of course, y'all know me, wholeheartedly, deeply believe in spirituality and that should be a first priority for everybody, should be deeply connected to their own inner being. And so please, I ask that you share this video and any other video that I have on depression or overcoming anything, which is pretty much all of my videos, but this one is a little bit deeper and much, much more near and dear to my heart than anything. If you want to get more Freedom Friday, I definitely think you should check out my monthly membership. So it is called Keys to the Empire, and that is what you get. You get to unlock so many of the tools and the worksheets and the just awesomeness that I know within me to be able to really free yourself and live your dreams. For the time being, until January 31st, 2018, it is half off. So you will only be paying $22 a month if you sign up as soon as possible, before the 31st. So we do full moon rituals, new moon rituals. We do a monthly podcast, and we do a weekly Facebook Live where I do tarot readings and I read A Course in Miracles. That is on top of lots of other incredible things, tools, tips on crystals to buy and oils. I mean, it goes all over the spectrum. Plus, it's just a lot of fun, and you have an incredible community. So if that's something that you're interested in, head over. You could either click right here, or you can click down below, or you can head over to DarienneEmpire.com/membership to sign up there. I will see you next week, and in the meantime, check out this video from the archive. Bye, guys.